This is the Resilience for Life vlog. I'm Jamie Meyer.
Hi, Charlene.
Good morning, Jamie. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm really excited to share your knowledge and your expertise with my readers and hopefully many other people in the world who can learn about your good work. We go back a little bit. We share the Yoga for Arthritis program that I know you've been deeply involved in, and now we're mentors
Yes.
for those people coming through. But I also know that you wear many hats and you have a business called the Urban Herbalist. And
Yes, that's
I'm
right.
so curious. I want to know more about that. So tell me, what is the Urban Herbalist?
So the Urban Herbalist is a little company I started a few years ago, maybe 10 to 12 years ago. And I say that it is a company that is focused on creating and cultivating a community that lives as nature intends for us to live. And so, how do we go about that healing process? I have tools in my toolbox. There's several things that I love to do and have studied, and that is yoga therapy, herbal medicine, and nutrition. So, regardless of how folks got acquainted with me, be it through yoga therapy or yoga class, or they seek out a nutrition consultation or herbal consultation, I usually use all three of those tools in my toolbox to cultivate and help folks to move towards their healing.
Great. Tell me the three again. I just want to be clear. I know yoga
Their
therapy.
yoga therapy, herbal medicine, and nutrition.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's very comprehensive. How did you
Mhm.
get involved in this work?
Well, I have to credit that with my mom in that my mom was a professional dancer. And so she was pretty fanatical about her body, as dancers are. And she also was an early practitioner of yoga. And so she introduced me to this many, many years ago. I've been practicing yoga for about 30 years.
Wow.
Then decided to become much more deeper in the study of it. And I didn't come into the study thinking that I was going to teach or do yoga therapy. That yogis just sort of evolved out of me somehow through this walk and this journey. Uh, and then from the herbal medicine and nutrition perspective, when I started my little family and my sons, they were born in Seattle, and
Mhm.
my midwife happened to be a naturopathic doctor and professor at John Bastyr. And so after my sons were born, she would share tips and treatments and strategies and remedies that I could use with them. So my friends and family learned that I was doing these things, so I became that go-to person.
Mhm.
I also volunteered at a local food co-op, and from there did store tours and learned a lot about whole foods. So all this was sort of organically done until I went forward and did more formal master's level training.
Oh, tell me about your master's level training.
So after a while, I thought that I wanted to get deeper in my own knowledge and understanding of this. And here in Maryland, we have what was once known as the Thai Sophia Institute for the Healing Arts. And it was originally designed to do master's level acupuncture classes. It then began to expand its programming probably about 10 years ago, and they offered a master's degree in herbal medicine. And I was fortunate to be in the third class there. And with that, having had a phenomenal amount of teachers from all over the world come in and
Mm.
do training for us. So with that, it's also a clinical based program, which means that not only are we getting the academics around physiology, pathophysiology, biochemistry, and botany, we also had 1,000 hours of clinic where we
Wow.
saw clients one on one
That's a
in
lot.
order to have a clinical based practice. Yeah.
Mhm.
From
Wow.
that, I was able to sit for the certified nutrition exam based on the coursework for that and become a certified nutrition specialist. And then the yoga therapy was, I had been using yoga therapy along with my herbal medicine.
Mhm.
And with that, was fortunate enough to grandparent into the International Association of Yoga Therapists
Yes.
yoga certification. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just a few
Mm.
credentials there.
Yeah, well, like I say, the most important letters past my name are HB, human being. All
Yeah.
the other letters are really for the world. But
Yes.
if I strive to be a good human being, which I'm striving to do, I don't know if I quite have that title yet, but Yes, yes.
Well, you have
Mhm.
a very warm energy, which I'm sure is one of the things in traditional healing. The idea to hold that space and to really
Yes,
be in the presence of whatever is presented is so beneficial.
yes. I mean, the traditional healing methods, I would say, they are really intuitively based. And yet, unfortunately, most of us are not really tied into where our intuition is, or we don't trust it enough. So, part of this, I like to say in my practice, is I'm striving to be that bridge in between. So, helping folks sort of move out of their cerebral lifestyle, okay, and get more into their heart. And so, how do we do that? How do we get back to that intuition?
Mhm.
But for a lot of us, particularly here in the West, we're very cerebral. So we really have to sort of unpack that from a scientific perspective and then walk it back to an
Yeah.
intuitive perspective. Yeah.
I know you sent me a graphic, a wonderful graphic. Would it be useful to look at that
Oh,
now?
sure. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to share the screen and
Okay.
so that everybody can see that. Very interesting. Can you see that now?
Yeah, I can. I can do a little bit of explanation of it.
Yeah.
It's a model that I have been working with and studying with. Of course, it's not something that's unique to me, other than the way that I maybe formulated it. But what I'm finding that in whenever I'm working with clients, it is this foundational rung of prayer, meditation, or what I call self-study that is usually missing in most folks' life. They'll have some level of health crises that brings them, forces them to have to pay more attention to where they're at,
Mhm.
and they'll try all of the other things in the upper rungs of this pyramid: herbal medicine, energetic medicine, of course, allopathic medicine, before dealing with some fundamental root level changes or introspection that need to happen. And regardless of where you're at in your journey of life, the importance of having a level of self-study or prayer or meditation, however you'd like to face it, has to be foundational.
Mhm.
From there, the next run of that, of course, is food and diet. And I say that because 70% of our immune system is in our digestive system, in the GI. And that is because the biggest assault that we have on our body is what we put in our mouths. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if the body or the creator of human life was so wise as to say 70% of the immune system has to be here, then we need to deal with what's happening with our food and with our diet. And the effects of that on our mood is absolutely proportional. And folks also don't necessarily, they have that disconnect about how am I feeling versus what I'm eating. And from that, that next level is movement.
Mhm.
Our bodies were designed to move, not be sedentary. I think that one of the biggest tragedies of the Industrial Revolution was that we created all of these ways of innovations in order to free ourselves up. But we freed ourselves up not for creative pursuits and evolving us as human beings creatively. We created all of this time, and then we ended up becoming couch potatoes. So those are the three foundational bottom ones. And then when we're moving into the more energetic medicines, be it herbal medicines or Reiki, massage, acupuncture, all of those are dealing on a deeper level, those energetic meridians and personal spaces. And so if we are not intuitively in tune with that level, then those particular energetics don't necessarily work. So folks will say, oh, I've been having GERD for 10 years now. The doctors don't understand what's the problem with me having this gastric reflux. We've tried everything. I've had all kind of medication. I still can't seem to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to try some acupuncture. Well, we go to acupuncture, but if you're not in tune to why that would work, then it doesn't necessarily work for you. So we
Mhm.
have to get back to that introspection. What is going on in your mind and your life that's causing you to experience the symptoms that you're having? And of course, what are you eating? And then of course, allopathic medicine that has a place. It's a very important science that we need in order to heal ourselves. But most of us flip this pyramid upside down, and that's the first place we run. And then when we're in a mid crisis, then the last alternative we use is prayer and meditation, where if we just turn it around, we might have more results quicker.
Mhm. Great. I'm going to go back to the screen. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Um, I'm so impressed when you were talking about the pyramid at what a holistic approach it is. I mean, it
Yes.
really, it's so encompassing of mind, body,
Yes.
spirit, of course,
Yes. Yes.
but it's,
The
yeah.
definition of healing, is the root word is hal, HAL, and the root word of that, or that's a derivative of the word holy. And
Mm,
so when we think about being a holy being, then mind, body, and spirit, they're equal in balance, or should be. It's not one or the other. They have equal weight in who we are
mhm.
as these dimensional beings, and so they need to be addressed equally and wholly together. Yes, in an integrative way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What types of clients do you typically work with?
All types of clients, all ages, all races, all shapes, all sizes. However, predominantly women, and that's probably because I am a woman, so they're who are attracted to me. I would say that I'm dealing with pretty much what's happening in Western health challenges these days. So that is metabolic syndrome, diabetes, hypertension, autoimmune diseases like fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, all kind of digestive challenges from GERD to food allergies to food sensitivities, colitis, Crohn's. So all kind of mental health issues too, anxiety, depression. So the gamut of what's happening, what I have seen is that for folks who are struggling with finding beyond going and getting a pharmaceutical, which might stay the course for a time in order for there to really be an understanding of having a lifestyle change, living with what's happening right now and making those changes, then there has to be a deeper dive into this healing process themselves. And so I actually have a lot of physicians who will refer clients to me when they're at their wits' end, like, I've done all that I can do. And when it's idiosyncratic, as they say, meaning they really can't find any structural or functional um, process that is easy to hit with some allopathic medicine,
Mhm.
send their clients to me, and we can have more time to unpack those kind of
Good.
challenges.
It
Yeah.
sounds like you're very comfortable then, if somebody is under the care of a physician currently, and aren't referred, but you're still open to working with them.
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely, and I offer that always.
great.
And then there are a couple of clients that I would insist on those who are having deep health challenges, like certain cancers and active HIV. Then I would insist that I be able to speak with their physicians because the contraindications, even with very mild herbs or supplements, has to be watched and monitored.
Good. And clearly you're trained in that, so that is
Yes, yeah,
that's
absolutely.
so tell us what might a typical wellness visit look like?
Well, whether you come for yoga therapy or nutrition or herbs, I ask that you fill out an herbal a health form, survey I call it. And with that, just giving me some basic history about yourself. Also talks about what your emotions are like, what you do like to do, what your exercise levels are. I also ask for a 24-hour dietary recall because most of us will tell me what they think they should be eating and not what they're really eating. And the only way we can really unpack what's happening in your diet is to look at what you're eating, what you're actually eating. And 24 hours is a pretty good indication, regardless of people say, well, yesterday wasn't typical. It usually is. and, um, and then from there, the consultation is usually about 75 to 90 minutes. And the first one is really about a conversation about what your health goals are and where you want to move from.
Mhm.
Um, and there will always be some movement and dietary strategies that I'm offering. And then we'll also have a conversation about supplementation. But again, I use herbs and supplements, nutraceuticals as supplements. I ask that you bring your blood work so that we can look at it and see where you're at. There's no sense in taking additional supplementation if your diet is doing what it needs to do.
Got it.
Yeah. And
Good.
folks can be with me one visit, or they can stay with me up to a year. It really does depend on what their goals are and how much help they want along the way.
Wonderful. People can work with you locally and also by distance, yes?
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Yeah, just like this, I work with clients via video streaming or telephone or email. Yeah.
Good. And I want people to know how to get in touch with you. What's the best way?
Well, I do have a website. It's urbanherbalist.org and or Charlene at urbanherbalist.org. Best places to visit the website. There's some information that's available there. There are tip sheets from me, some of the papers that I've written, research papers, and etc. I have a podcast that's also listed there. And then, yeah, contact information. Absolutely.
Okay. Good. Great. Is there anything else that you want to share with the listeners today, the viewers of this?
Well, I want to thank you so much for inviting me to speak on your program, and also that, we're in this wonderful paradigm shift. And so keep studying. I would just say, we are so interesting as individual beings, and the best place to start is in your own heart.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. It is.
Thank you so much.
Exciting. It's
Mm-hmm.
an exciting time, and it's an honor, isn't it, to be
Yes.
part of the bridge between
Yes.
this ancient, and newer wisdom, but also the Western modalities. There's so much that we have to take advantage of and be thankful for.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.